In the US, you do have to disclose. So all of that data is public and is ranked, indexed, and it's coming from congressional hearings, and it's coming from congressional filings and from executive filings. So this is coming directly from the governmental websites, right? So what we do is we fetch and pull all of that information in from those political filings and from those executive and judicial filings, and then we enrich them and append a huge amount of valuable data about the company itself, about the politician, about the executive or judicial branch member, to give you the context that you need to make an informed decision. So just the filings by themselves are sort of useless, but all of the data on top of it, right, is where like the magic truly happens. Hopefully this is making sense, but the US states and localities have similar stock trade. They all do. So every single city, state, and at the federal level, they have to adhere to the stock 45 rule, right? It's an act that spans everywhere. So so if you dig in here and you go in and you say, okay, I want to go to political alpha, I want to let's go back to the trade feed, you can filter down. So let's say I want to filter to the United States, and this is where I'm working on Australia and UK, but it's a little odd. And then I want to say I want to look at anybody who is a Democrat that is part of the Senate, and I can look at John Fetterman, for example, who's a very, very famous Democratic senator, and I could look at exactly what he's buying. But then if you dig deeper here, you can actually, if you remove some of the filters, so if you click filters here, 1 second, here. So if you can remove filters to then see trades that are also being done at a local, municipal, and community level. So you'll see literally what positions they're buying into smaller companies if needed as well. But the problem with those is it doesn't show you how much they bought. It's like generally not very useful, you know. So like these non-tradable disclosures. So you could look at that as well. So that includes like municipal bonds, real estate property exposures. It also includes partnership stakes, partnership dissolution, partnership amalgamation. So the whole bunch of things that have to be disclosed technically that are still part of the Stock Act, but don't disclose enough financial details for them to be actionable. Anyways, I hope I'm not going into like too much detail here, Harold, but hopefully that answers your question. And yeah, you're very welcome, John. I'm happy that answers your question. So yeah, that's political alpha. And so let's go through whale alpha. So whale alpha to me personally is just very helpful because it shows me when I look at all the whales across, and this is mostly on-chain, okay? So I'm looking at Polymarket, Opinion Trade, Ethereum blockchain, Base blockchain, Binance Smart Chain, Solana blockchain, etc., right? And I'm also looking at perpetual decentralized exchanges. So perpetual decentralized exchanges and spot decentralized exchanges. So we're talking about Hyperliquid, you know, DYDX, Aster, right? So those are all massively popular decentralized perpetual exchanges. So I'm tracking whales in all of them. And out of all of them, there's around 955, right, that are averaging a win rate of 90%. And the total P&L tracked is over 10 billion. So that's helpful, but that by itself is not actionable yet. So what you would do is you would go in down here and you filter down to what you want. So you say, so the way that I like to have it set up is exactly what you see here, which is I only want to see whales that have made at least a minimum of $100,000 with a minimum win rate of 80%, with a minimum number of trades of 10, and irrespective of risk level, irrespective of classification, like is it low risk, medium risk, high risk not at the asset level, but at the trader level, and then irrespective of chain, it's showing me 955, right? So for those 955, the average win rate's 91. But if you can change that. So you say, I only want to look at people who've done 20 trades. So if you do that, then it's gonna reduce it down, right? It reduced it down by a little bit. So let's say 30 trades, and then it'll bring it down further down, right? 923. So it depends on what is considered a sufficient sample size of trades for you. I usually like 20, 30, 50, ideally. That's good enough for me. That's more than I need. The other thing that's very important is it's also very important to filter to this activity level. Let me mark it here. So this activity level shows you when was the last time that this particular whale was active. And that's what this last column is. So this last column shows you that this whale, who's made, 9 or 10 figures here, they last traded almost a year ago, right? So like, is that useful? I don't know. Like, it's probably not that useful because it's from a year ago. They probably have already moved to another wallet. So I would just filter those out. So maybe they just include only the ones that are active in the last 30 days. If you do that, you've essentially cut the whale population by half, right? So let me summarize again. So right now we're looking at 533 whales who've made an average win rate of almost 94%, that have traded a minimum of 30 plus trades, that have made at least 6 figures. Okay. Now you you have to make it, relevant to you. So you say, okay, I mean, like who in their right mind would not at least pay attention to some of these whales, right? So like Abraxas Capital. So that's an institutional capital fund. You want to take a look at what they're doing, right? What are they doing on Hyperliquid? So what you would do is you just click it. And then when you click it, it takes you to their page. And then in that page, you would look at their individual performance, right? So, and that's basically it. So, and then once you have it on the page open, you can then click set an alert, or you can click autopilot. And if you set autopilot, what it'll do is it'll execute the trade at the same time that they're executing the trade. Okay, so it's mirror trading. So you essentially, and you're just mirroring them on chain. So if there is a trade, and you can set the filters as you can be as sophisticated as you want. Right now, this is set up as the simple view. But essentially what you would say is you would say, which exchange or broker do you want to execute the trade on? So if they're trading on Hyperliquid, obviously it would be better if you just stuck to the same exchange they're using, or you could find an alternative exchange. But essentially you would execute the trade on exchange X, and then you say, I only want to buy $250 worth of any one trade, right? And I want to have a daily spend cap of 2,000, okay? And I only want to take longs and shorts, and I only want to trade, let's say, these symbols, and I don't want to trade these symbols, and then you can enable something called autopilot, right? So autopilot is a custom trade routing system. So it's a profile that you can set up for this particular whale if you want, or for whale alpha. So autopilot, think of it as like cruise control in your car, where you can say, I want to have it set so it's driving at 70 kilometers an hour or 80 kilometers an hour, and you can adjust it per se. That's literally autopilot. So so that's it. So that's how you do it. Or if you don't want to do that and you just want to be alerted, then you just click alerts, right? And you set up the alerts. So it's as simple as that. Yeah, please go ahead.
That's great. If you take it a step further on the autopilot, are you able to show the default take profit and stop loss? I know they're configurable, but
so all you do is you click autopilot, and then what you would do, and it's not, you can't see it here, but essentially what you would do is you go to your profile, and then you go to here. So go to autopilot. So here. So on the left-hand side, you see autopilot here. So you would click autopilot. And then in autopilot, what it would show you is it would show you all the different profiles that you have set up. So these are all the profiles I have, right? So I have one for NASDAQ. I have one for silver. I have one for Aave, one for Bank of America, one for Visa, one for Ford, right? One for Met, one for BK, one for EFV, etc. So for each of these profiles, let's click the NASDAQ one. What you would do is you can adjust anything you could possibly imagine you would want to adjust, you can change. So let's say I want to change the NASDAQ one. You just click edit. So right here, right? So if I click edit, now it's going to show me what the defaults are or what I've set up for this particular profile that I have set up, right? So now it's telling me, okay, here's the exchange routing. So obviously this is for something that's going to be routed through Alpaca, which is Alpaca is the broker of choice for me for this one particular asset, right? And then from here I can choose everything like the symbols to include, exclude, and then I can set up my position sizing. I can set up the leverage if you want to trade with leverage. I try to avoid leverage too much, so usually just stick to 1x. So 1x is no leverage for both longs and shorts. And then here are the take profit. So you can have take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3, and then you can distribute them equally, or you can say, I want to take profit 50% at take profit 1 target, and I want to take profit 25% at take profit 2 target. And for take profit 3 target, I want to take another 25%, close the position, right? Or you can have it 50-25 and then trail the last 25%. Yeah. So you can configure it however you want. And then it gets a lot more sophisticated as you scroll down, but essentially you can have trailing stops, like I mentioned. You can have risk guards. So there's embedded safety controls where you say, I don't want to have more than 3 concurrent positions. I only want to have 4 daily trades. I only want to have a consecutive loss limit of 5. I only want to have a max weekly drawdown of 30%. So irrespective of what I'm doing, if the weekly drawdown is more than 30%, it just caps it and then essentially disables the profile, right, indefinitely. You could have cooldowns, and then you could say, I only want to execute the execution of the trade itself if the price of Bitcoin has gone up by 1%, right? Or has gone up by 2%, or has gone down by 2%. That's the only time I want to execute shorts. So you can have multiple conditional rules. I mean, we're getting into like a ridiculous amount of detail here, but this is how you create like a sophisticated profile for yourself using autopilot. So, and then you set it up, or you just ignore everything and you just say, I want to be conservative, and you click that, or I want to be aggressive, and then it'll set it up that way. So you can just use the predefined presets, So are there any questions? And let's take a minute there. I've done a lot of talking. So is there any more questions? Please just ask. Okay, so that's it. So that's literally how I do everything. So I have my whale alpha, I have my prediction alpha, right, that I went through quickly, but I'll go through in more detail here. So like prediction alpha is showing you these are all the main prediction markets or events that are interesting. So for example, like even this one, will Michelle Bowman be confirmed as the Fed chair? This is so it's already definitively resolved. So this is not going to be applicable anymore, but the end date was October 30th. But when you click any of these markets, you'll see any type of analysis about them. So like the SpaceX IPO, was it market cap was going to close above 2 trillion? So that already pretty much happened. So that's why our model was saying there was a 99% probability of it happening. So what you would do is just analyze it, and it'll give you everything you would possibly need to know. So like the key factors, risk factors, the catalyst events, and then it also tells you which whales are buying or selling. Are they buying yes or no on this prediction market itself? So Donk 513 is a whale, but all by myself is a more prominent whale. So this person has made 539,000 on Polymarket by itself, and he was buying no. So he actually lost. This is interesting. Like I don't know. I have to look at this, but I'm not sure if he actually ended up closing this trade. So you can look at the view trader profile and actually take a look at what he's done, and you could see his performance. But yeah, he still made 590,000. And then you could also see his performance like just visually, graphically. And you could see what are his active positions. So his active positions, he's I hope that's not true, but he's betting on the hantavirus not happening as a pandemic this year. He is betting on the Odyssey being the #1 searched movie. So you could see exactly what his positions are, and you look at his trade history. So, but he generally wins. He generally wins. He lost this one. That was a huge amount of money that he's lost. But he hedged it. He bought both sides, yes and no. So hopefully you guys are getting an idea. So this is taking forever to build this. But that's the prediction alpha. So to me, this is like absolute gold in a million different ways, because you can see exactly what is happening if you look at like geopolitics, or if you look at tech, if you look at like social culture, crypto, politics, etc. You can see everything very clearly. And all you do is just click analyze. So like if you want to see if there's something you want to look at and you want to track it, so like is Israel and Iran ceasefire continuing through August 9th, you can analyze it, and then after a few seconds it'll give you the exact assessment. So this is using our own machine learning models, and so that's the whole team of research scientists. That's what's taken forever to construct this, and then it'll give us what the Blockcircle probability of this happening. So right now the market's pricing it at 93%. So 93% probability of there being a ceasefire through August 9th, which is Sunday, so this Sunday. But for Blockcircle is saying it's a 95% probability. So, 1.5% arbitrage opportunity, right? So think of it that way. It's slightly underpriced. So you can take that as a very important token of information that you could use. Now I want to look at what the catalysts are. The catalysts are US and Iran talking is beginning. So that's been happening since yesterday. But important, what are the whales doing? So the whales are generally all buying yes. So 5 whales are all buying yes. No one's betting no. So at this point, the risk to reward is not as compelling, but still you can easily deploy a pretty significant amount of capital here because it's a very liquid market, and you could make 1 or 2% potentially by the end of Saturday night as it goes into Sunday, right? And then if you click it, I should have shown you this. If you click this, it'll show you. So this is the full market itself, right? And it shows you the description. And then if you scroll down, it shows you what the order book looks like, shows you liquidity, right? There is a huge amount of liquidity here. There's a huge amount of liquidity if it drops down below 90, but above 94, there's really not much. And then it shows you the assessment that we just went through. So, okay, Ahmed, is this a trading bot? So the universal trading engine is like trading bot times like 100, right? Trading bot is like very simple. The trading engine itself is what allows you to connect to autopilot profiles, and those autopilot profiles can be set up in a million different ways. So you're routing them to different exchanges, different symbols, different trading strategies, etc. So it's a lot more than that. Oh, and Kat, sorry, your question is, what strategy would you recommend to a new user of the platform? Invest a fraction of initial capital in whale Congress betting, use one sector each at a time, and scale up in each time. Yeah, I think that would be a good starting point. Another thing, to be honest with you, probably the easier starting point is to just go into Trade Alpha. So when you can sign up for a free trial, and there's, like I'm confident you'll be happy with it, but essentially sign up for a free trial and just try to test it yourself. The results are there; they're all empirical. But you can go to Trade Alpha, and this is where I post my trades: short-term, mid-term, long-term, and this combined with the MRE. So the MRE to me is probably one of the most simplest ways to get started. This market reversal engine shows you when the market is oversold or overbought short-term. So right now, yesterday at 6 p.m., we got an oversold alert from Solana. So Solana was at $73, it was oversold. But in the morning yesterday, we were getting overbought alerts across the board for Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, like altcoin, stable coins, right? So if you keep getting like all 4 assets, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, those are the massive crypto assets. If you're getting those as being overbought, then you should probably be a little more protective and a little more defensive in terms of your positioning, right? And then the inverse is true. If it's if you're getting oversold alerts, like right now we got the first oversold alert, but right now I'm not seeing anything else. But usually you'll see them like come in together, right? So like yesterday at 1:40 in the morning, my time, Arizona, we were seeing Ethereum being oversold, Solana being oversold, Bitcoin being oversold, and small altcoins being oversold. That's potentially a very good time to go long, right? To do a scalp long. So buy a few dollars worth of one of those assets, and it tends to do well short term. So you could sell it at the end of the day. And like you see, it went from 72 to 73.6, right? Which is a very attractive short-term scalp trade. That's a percent or two, right? So like that's absolutely worth looking at. So I would say that I would get started with the market reversal engine. And then another thing you can get started with that I haven't even had any time to talk about is the momentum trading engine. So the momentum trading engine is where you have trading strategies, and then these trading strategies are ones that you literally just one-click deploy. You can just subscribe to the trading strategy yourself, but you see everything. These are not theoretical returns. Like these were the actual returns for these strategies. And you see, like, for example, if I want to look at Visa, this Visa strategy has a 100% win rate. It's only traded 52 times, okay, which is fine. But then it's from 5 years ago. From 5 years ago, it's traded 52 times with a 100% win rate. You would have taken 100K all the way up to 170K. So I would take that any day over, just buying and holding some asset that goes down 80%, because the drawdown was only 8%, right? So that I would much rather have exposure to the downside of only 8% than have exposure of minus 80%, right? So this strategy to me is very attractive. So all you do, and if you want to deploy it, you click deploy and auto trade, and then it'll go. And you just execute. So where do you want to deploy it? Do you want to deploy it on Alpaca or Hyperliquid or et cetera? And then you just deploy one click. So that to me, honestly, Kat, is by far the easiest way to get started. So the momentum trading engine and then the market reversal engine, those two. And then political alpha, all these things we were going through at the beginning is probably a little more advanced. And you could just keep track of them and just buy a little bit if you see something interesting, which you will. So like if you go here and you see like what people are buying, if you want to buy them, you just click trade and you buy it. Like it's not any more complicated than that, So hopefully that answers that. What other questions does anybody else have? Oh, Adam, please go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Basel, just a few quick ones. Round robin here, rapid fire. When you look at the momentum trading engine, have any of them triggered for you?
Yeah, some of them have. So, but I've been holding them. Like they've sort of just been on hold. But now I've launched them. So now you should be starting to receive them. But if you're not, so far I don't think any of them have come up publicly. So like you see the trade logs is empty here because I keep testing them, and then I replace them with new strategies that I found that have been proven to be more promising. So the ones that we have right now are the ones that you see that are coming from TradingView. So the ones that are posted on the Discord. So those ones I'm still trading. But these 9 ones, I haven't like I just launched them recently. Like I've been holding them, but they've been running. They've been running okay.
They've been taking trades?
They've been taking trades and they've been doing okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. No, exciting. The other one, when you were talking about Polymarket, there's so much signals and golden potential signals there. Are you considering at all some sort of high-level overarching daily market brief that could really give folks, here's what to care about on a daily basis? Do you think that that's a potential capability that could save your users time?
There is something I was building that I just haven't shared it yet. It's called Pulse. It's experimental, but there are a few things that I'm working on that front. So it's just tricky to try to make it in a way that's applicable to as many people as possible. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'm just going to make it for me and then take it from there, right? So hopefully if it's useful for me, it should hopefully be more useful for other people. And yeah, welcome. I'll send everybody the recording after this as well. I think the beginning wasn't recorded, but now it is being recorded. At the beginning, all just for everyone's information, what I was saying was everything in the way that I view the market and the way that I view how to get some type of information advantage or edge is I look at whale alpha, I look at insider alpha, I look at political alpha, prediction alpha, and then I route everything through the universal trading engine itself, right? And it goes to exchanges, and that's it. So that's the part that you missed, but that's no problem. So yeah, okay. What's the next question, please? Adam, you said you had a few other ones.
Yes, there's another one. Okay, so Basel, the MRE, it's incredible. It's amazing. I spent maybe half a day looking at it, trying to do my own kind of back test with my own tools. And I think what you've said is that when Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum are all kind of pointing the same direction, I think you also have a signal around stablecoin dominance. I'm wondering if there's a way to have like a preset type of set of parameters where if all 3 or 4 of those are true, if somebody's interested in just having that deploy via autopilot with whatever take profit stop loss, is that possible?
No, it is. I mean, I have that. I just haven't rolled it out to everyone. So
Okay.
like I basically have my own where I go into the alerts and then I have my own alerts on my profile, and essentially those alerts will only trigger, see here. So this is one experimental experiment that I was running, but this was exactly what you're saying. It's like a preset template that people can easily subscribe to that covers essentially everything that I was explaining to Kat, right? Like a few minutes ago, which is only go long when, like here, I'll show you. So let's say I want to set up an alert. So you click alert. I only want to go long when condition 1, which is ticker, let's say, let's start with Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin 15-minute is oversold, plus condition 2, when Solana 15-minute is oversold, plus when Ethereum is also oversold, and then a 4th condition would be when stablecoin dominance on the 50-minute is oversold. So those are 4 conditions. And then what you would do is you go auto execute on trigger here, you enable it, and then you say which asset, right? So if you choose the asset, you could say, I want to go long on Solana. So I want to go long on Solana with $100 on Hyperliquid or whichever account of preference you have, when those 4 conditions are met, which is when those 4 assets are oversold, right? And then you just click, I understand the risks, and then you save the alert. And then when you save it, it's done. So now it'll be set up as an auto executable alert that's on the back of a conditional template that we've created. But I know what you're saying. You're saying, I wish it would be easy to just click one button here that has a predefined template, right? Like the options one I was showing you last night, right?
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I think this configurability, I don't know of any other platform that is doing what you're doing, first of all. So props to you and the team. Yeah, I mean, I think if it's just a little incremental effort, say at some point later this quarter that you can have where it's just easy. If Kat or myself or anybody, right, wants to do it, you just click it. Yep, I'm willing to deploy some capital against that and just letting it ride,
Yes. No, it's not complicated to do that. I know, Adil, I just noticed now that I was like walking through the tutorial while there was drawing, so thank you for letting me know. Just erased it, man. But yeah, guys, I mean, that pretty much, I mean, I can keep going for like several more hours, but I'm actually doing another workshop if anyone is interested in jumping into that one. Like right now, I'm doing it in 5 minutes. It's going to be on, it's also on financial market intelligence and trading, but it's focusing on religious/faith-based investing and trading decisions using 10 different investing religious frameworks. So for example, if you are trying to figure out whether or not a company like Apple is actually religiously compliant, you can just go to faithscreener.com and you could see, right? So you could see exactly how compliant or not compliant it is based upon different religious frameworks. So where there's 5 for Muslims, and then there's a few for Christian/Catholicism, and then there's 1 for Judaism and 1 for Latter-day Saints/Mormons, and then there's 1 composite consensus one that rolls everything together, and that's how we come to 10. Yeah. So like, for example, if you look at Apple, it's failing 2 Islamic Sharia finance frameworks, right? FTSE, Assad, and then MSCI. MSCI is a very established benchmark index. So the fact that it's failing that is interesting. And if you want to know why, then you just scroll down and you see it, right? So you see that the reason is that the quantitative ratio of cash and securities to total assets is above a certain level. So anyways, that'll be really fun. If you guys want to do that, you want to jump on, I should probably just post the link. That would be a lot easier. Yeah, let me post the link so anybody can jump on if people are interested. But let me see here. I have it like easily available. Yeah, okay, here it is. So I'll post it in the chat and then people can jump on if you want to sign up. Here. There you go. So there it is. That's about it. So yeah, thanks everybody for joining. Hope you all found it helpful. You're very welcome, Paul. It's good to have you here. You're so. Is it paid? What is paid? Blockcircle? Oh, so Blockcircle. We should have mentioned that. So Blockcircle. All you do is you go in and you just sign up for a trial, or you just sign up. It's only $66 a month if you sign up yearly, which probably would be the easiest. There's Plus, which is only analysis, and then there's Premium, which is analysis plus execution and trading. So the universal trading engine, the autopilot, all those things we talked about are all in Premium. And then if you're more of a quantitative trader or an advanced fund, you would probably sign up for Quant. But I think Premium is probably more than enough for like 99% of you. And can you give URL? So the URL is blockcircle.com, BLOCKCIRCLE. So here it is. And then you could sign up. So, and then Ray, yes, I'll email everyone the recording. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna jump on the FaithScreener workshop. So if you can join, love to have you there. Guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.